Whack 'em, whack 'em, whack 'em. Come right on in. Whack 'em, whack 'em, whack 'em. Welcome today. Thank you for coming in and spending some of your time with us. Thank you for coming in once again to Current Events Now. We're glad to have you here at Current Events Now. If it's your first time coming in, we want you to hit the subscribe button so that when we send out our notices, you can get it and get this good information. And at the end of this video, if you like what you've heard, if we enriched your knowledge, we ask that you hit the like button to help with the algorithm. Thank you, thank you. Today we were back on tariffs, and it looks like these things are actually going to get put into practice. Canada is now prepared to meet America with tariff for tariff. I want you to take a listen to what Canada has rallied their peoples behind, and some of what will happen if these tariffs actually go into place.
Briefing showed spokespeople struggling to answer direct questions. Many reporters asked why the administration had not seen this coming. One official insisted that the tariffs were a small bump in the road. Another warned that this was no ordinary misunderstanding. The public watched, eager for reassurance, but few found clear guidance. As different voices competed for the spotlight, a sense of chaos set in. Rumors spread of emergency discussions aimed at preventing a deeper conflict. Private sector leaders also urged Washington to take swift action to resolve the standoff. Some argued that the United States and Canada needed to sit down immediately and rework trade terms. Others wanted to double down on tough tactics to show strength. That disagreement highlighted the split in American politics: negotiate or escalate. Meanwhile, citizens worried about potential price hikes on household goods and disruptions to daily life. In this unsettled climate, each speech and policy move carried greater weight. Uncertainty became the new normal on Capitol Hill. Canada rallies. North of the border, a different spirit prevailed. Rather than crumbling beneath the weight of economic pressures, Canadian leaders rallied their citizens around a shared cause. The Prime Minister spoke in a calm but firm tone, reminding everyone that these tariffs were not meant to harm a neighbor but to protect Canadian jobs. Local radio stations replayed his remarks throughout the day, and newspapers praised the government's determination. In homes across the country, families discussed how they could buy more local goods to help their fellow citizens. Community leaders began small campaigns promoting Canadian products in grocery stores and online shops. Farmers encouraged people to pick homegrown fruit and vegetables, while small factories printed labels.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there and just recap. The Prime Minister of Canada basically got his peoples ready for and prepared his peoples for what could happen under these tariffs. And he directed them to buy all Canadian products. Any product that they can, buy it. It will help save jobs for their peoples when you buy Canadian product. And so, when American products, when they're brought into Canada, if they're not selling, that's going to hurt American workers. It's going to hurt American workers and not Canadian workers. So, the Prime Minister has gotten his peoples, his country, ready and prepared so that they won't be hit as hard by these tariffs, because they're going to buy their own products, which will help their economy. The one thing that we as Americans need to understand is that we're not the only ones that can use tariffs. We're not the only ones. Tariffs is a two-way street. And sometimes they hurt us more than they would hurt whom we're trying to direct those tariffs at. You got to remember, America gets gas, a lot of our gas, our liquid gas, and our gas that we put in our automobiles. I think it's about 40 to 50% of that comes from Canada. And if you see a cut of any sort in that, that's going to cause us hardship. That's just basic one-on-one math. And then we also sell a lot of our products there. Orange juice, many different other type of juices, liquor, alcohol, household items, you know. And if their peoples are not going to buy our products, well, that's going to cause a slowdown, if not people's losing jobs here in the United States. Let's just listen a little bit more because this thing is really detailed as to how this can hurt, the two neighboring countries. So let's go back in for just a little bit. Listen to this.
Labels urging consumers to choose Canadian brands. Worries about the cost of imported items remain, but many believe the united approach would lessen the impact. Even children learned about supporting home industries, with teachers explaining how every local purchase could make a positive difference. Although some worried about long-term fallout, a clear sense of pride emerged. People saw this moment as proof that Canada could stand on its own, even when faced with larger powers. By relying on mutual support, citizens and officials alike hoped to find a fair solution. Whether the situation would resolve soon or turn into a deeper standoff was uncertain. The country's collective voice rang out. Unity in the face of a trade war. Pressure points. Canada has decided to respond to tariffs in a direct but careful way, focusing on specific United States products that can cause the most distress where it matters the most. Instead of placing extra charges on a wide range of items, Canada is looking at goods that carry political and economic weight. Bourbon from Kentucky is a perfect example. This famous drink is tied to a region with influential lawmakers, so any surge in bourbon prices grabs their attention and creates real pressure. Florida orange juice is another target because it comes from a state that is often important during elections, which makes higher orange juice prices a hot-button issue for both politicians and families. Perhaps the boldest step is aiming tariffs at Tesla, a company that is viewed by many.
You heard what he said. Orange juice, bourbon, Tennessee, orange juice, Florida, Tesla, Elon Musk. You know, as I stated, America is not the only ones that can use tariffs. If Canada uses all these tariffs, and that's not all that they have to use. There's plenty more. That's going to hurt American workers. It's going to hurt in the least poorest states that's in the union. Tennessee can't afford to have the economy interrupted like that. That's jobs lost. Florida, they can't afford to have their jobs interrupted like that. That's jobs lost. Plain and simple. Tesla builds its cars here and some overseas. Jobs lost. Jobs lost. And that's just the beginning of what Canada will do in this tariff war. Let's go back in for just a little bit more.
Many as a leader in modern technology and clean transportation. Tesla relies on critical raw materials such as nickel, lithium, and aluminum, all of which Canada can supply or cut off. By adding extra costs to these resources, Canada sends a loud message that the United States cannot take stable trade for granted. Supporters of electric vehicles want cheaper and more reliable options, but each new fee makes these cars more expensive and harder to build. With this plan, Canada is not acting at random. Each tariff hits a spot that will be felt by lawmakers, industry leaders, and regular shoppers. By charging extra on bourbon, orange juice, and important electric vehicle materials, Canada forces the United States government to think about whether a trade fight is really worth the damage. This approach may look ruthless, but from a strategic point of view, it is straightforward. Hit the areas that guarantee a reaction. When cost increases appear in family kitchens and high-tech assembly plants, officials in Washington might finally realize that these policies carry a steep price for everyday people.
Carry a steep price for everyday people. Not the truer words, I couldn't have put it any better. You see, we Americans, and I love my country. I want you to know that I love America. There's no place like America. But what I don't like is when we make decisions that hurt ourselves, hurt our peoples. I said once before that no one wins in tariff wars. The workers, the peoples of the country are the ones who are the biggest losers. The price goes up. People lose jobs. And you know what's even sadder? Typically when those prices go up, they very rarely ever come back down. So you got to get used to higher prices for the rest of your foreseeable life. And that just, we all ought to be enraged when we think about that. How we are causing life to be so much more expensive for our children and their children. No one wins. I'll say it one more time. No one wins in tariff wars. No one wins in tariff wars. If I could say to our leaders, stop it. Stop it. All this loss is jobs. All this loss is billions of dollars that our economy can't afford to lose. So stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Thank you for coming in today on Current Events Now. And hopefully in the future, as we are preparing to bring more information news you can use, and information that'll make you much smarter than when you first come in. As we always say, on the way out, hit that like button, help us with the algorithm, and those of you who are not subscribers, subscribe today. And if you would like, go down into below and look under more, and go to Amazon and pick out one of my books today. I'm sure there's something on there that will interest you. Until the next time, take care of yourselves.